frozen custard was around in 1914. They even had frozen custard at the World's Fair. Supposedly frozen custard started in 1902. I don't know where. Don't know if it was necessarily
I
here.
didn't know that.
But World's Fair had it. We talked at the beginning of this about being synonymous with frozen custard, but Christmas trees came into play pretty early on.
Well, it seemed to me at the time that it was pretty late on, because the business had started in the 20s. But I was really hard pressed. In the first place, my dad was thinking about selling out the Chippewa store because business was bad in the 50s. Dairy Queen had really put a dent in our business. And there were a proliferation of eating places so that we were no longer the only drive-in town, so to speak. And my dad really was downhearted, and he was thinking of just retiring, and at which point I would have to go out and find other work. By that time, well, in the first place, I started working there when I was 14 years old, and it was in my blood.
Sure.
Some people, their businesses get in their blood, and they're stuck there.
I know.
And I really enjoyed waiting on people, and that's what I like to do. And
you still do after all these years.
Well, I just love the business, and I love to have a good product. And my dad set a good example in that he really emphasized quality in everything he did. For instance, you can buy nuts very cheap. Pecans, you can get pecans that are not really fresh, and they cost maybe a third of what a good quality pecan costs. And that's just one example. Strawberries is another example. There's a big difference in frozen strawberries.
I had no idea.
Well, and of course, the only way to really sell strawberries year-round is to have frozen. And so it's important to buy up a year's supply, if you can, of a good strawberry. And it costs more. But that's true in everything we do. We try to get the best. It doesn't mean we always have the best. I remember one day a guy came in and he was selling an inferiority product. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I only believe in buying quality." He said, "Are you kidding me?" And I said, "Well, why do you say that?" And he said, "Well, how about those lousy sandwiches you're selling?" And we were selling sandwiches because we were going broke. And that opened my eyes, and we got rid of the sandwiches.
I never knew you did.
We never did buy his product, but he opened my eyes. Sometimes you learn best from your critics.
That's true.
You know, the guy says, "What about those lousy sandwiches?" And up until then, oh yeah, what about they were okay, but they were not. They were pre-made sandwiches.
Sure. So you were open generally what months in the earliest years? 30s, 40s?
Actually, from May until, maybe my dad said April 10th was a good day to open. And I said, "Why April 10th? He said, "Well, that's when you know that you're going to get 70-degree weather." But today, people, to start with, they have better automobiles, and so they can go just any time of year and be comfortable.
Sure.
And we have heaters at the store at Chippewa Street, so, and a little enclosure
So people aren't
so
waiting
that
out in the
people,
cold.
so, yeah. And we've never had a sit-down restaurant, so to speak. It's always been counter. Um, Even McDonald's, I think, when they started out, just had window service.
No,
I think.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Now, when you have the lot today, the lot is a paved lot, but years ago it was gravel or something, wasn't it?
Well, my dad, he had great ideas, and one of his great ideas was that a gravel parking lot is cooler than an asphalt parking lot.
Makes sense.
But that was before we had air-conditioned cars.
Right.
And so the bad thing is that if a person came in with his shiny car,
Dusty.
and they'd get the car all dirty, and so that was
Must
not.
have been tough for the car hops too. You had car hops for a long time.
Yeah, my wife was a car hop, and I guess my next oldest sister was a car hop, and
Who was that, Margie?
yeah, she just passed away. She was just shy of her 90th birthday.
Oh,
But I think Margie worked longer at Ted Drew's than I did.
oh my goodness sakes. Yeah, she always seemed to be there.
You know, she was car hopping when she was 12 years old, and she was a good one.
I'll bet.
And
Well, when did you stop the car hops? 50 something, 57, 8? Or did they go into the 60s?
this might have been in the 70s.
Oh, that recent?
One, yeah, well, car hops was an idea that grew old. There are still some places around that have curb service.
Not many, but some.
Yeah, but the problem with selling frozen custard with car hops is that the darn stuff would start melting the minute
Oh,
they'd head out the
Yeah.
parking lot, and so it had its day.
now if you go to Ted
But it
Drew's,
might have been in 1970 or so that we stopped. And one year we were down to just a couple of car hops, and we brought them inside
Yeah.
to work window.
So you have the
And-
car hops today, if they would have been, now they're working the window and